Hello, welcome. What we're looking at today is what we call the analysis cube. Now, the analysis cube is some kind of way. If you went to Wikipedia, for example, the analysis cube is a data structure that allows fast analysis of data. It can also be defined as the capacity of manipulating and analyzing data from multiple perspectives. The arrangement of data into cubes overcomes the limitation of relational databases. Now, what this basically means is analyzing company data using the analysis cube takes away the limitations of having to analyze data from one database. It takes away the limitation of having to analyze data from only one data source. That means you can combine numerous databases and then have them on some kind of logical view. Now, when you have them on a logical view, then you can combine all sorts of data coming from numerous sources and have it all analyzed on one grid. Now, this information that you see in Excel is actually the analysis cube. Now, the way you get the analysis, in a short while I will be showing you how to design the analysis cube, how I came and designed it, but what you really are seeing here is the cube itself. Now, the way to get the analysis cube, well, let me first show you the cube itself. You design it from a business intelligence platform. This that you see here is a business intelligence platform. Now, the platform actually is made up what we call a set of components. We first of all have to define a data source, then a data source view, and then the cube itself and the dimensions. Now, in addition to the dimensions, we can also have measures. You can look at the measures on this side. Now, the cube itself, like I told you, has a data source. Now, the way to create a data source is get to data source designer, pass in authentication for how to reach the server name on which the databases or the set of databases have been stored. Now, when you get to that level, you will pass in the authentication and create a data source. You can specify the server name. In this case, I'll leave it at local, put it at Windows authentication, depending on what priority you want. Then specify the database. I'm using a VentureWorks DW cube. And when you have everything clear, you can test the connection, and until you have the connection, test connection succeeded. Have the connection, you're free to go. Now, that actually means that you have a connection to your databases. It doesn't matter. There could be 10, 20, 30 databases. As long as the information you are trying to analyze is coming from each of those databases, you can add up tables together. This could be a table from an Oracle database, a table from an SQL database, Access, even Excel, and even flat files from that are readable by text files that are readable by Notepad, non-delimited. It could be all sorts of. So you have a whole grid of data from multiple data sources, and you have it. Actually, what you're looking at here is the data source view. Let me probably expand it for you. So this is what will combine all of the tables from all the sources that you are trying to merge up together, and then you create dimensions. Now, we can look at dimensions better from this side. Now, dimensions are qualitative. They are qualitative components of the cube. On the other hand, if you looked at the measures, let me get to the cube itself. If you looked at the measures are quantitative. Talk about sales amount, unit price, extended amount, unit price discount. These are quantitative. They have figures in them, order quantity. But when you look at this, the dimensions. The dimensions are qualitative, like sales territory, due date, the customer's name, stuff like that. Now, so you will create everything here. You'll create the whole cube, the entire cube here. But you are able to browse or analyze the data of the cube using Excel. This is how you go get the cube data from via Excel. You come down to analysis services. Specify the server name. You remember from our connections we actually specified the server name. If you remember very well, let me take you there in a minute. You remember the very server name you place here is the server name that you will be required, actually including the database. So it will ask you for the server name, and when you have the server name, pass in all the same authentications that you created when you are trying to create the connection from the data source. Then it will allow you to get into the database and pick this data. What it does is actually it picks the data and brings it into Excel as a pivot table. So you have the data as a pivot table, and then you begin browsing. Now, this is how you browse. This is probably how you browse and analyze data from an analysis cube. Say you want to understand the nature of your customers, and you have customers who actually have houses, and you've created a dimension such that customers with houses have a 1 flag. Customers without houses have a 0 flag. So 0 will actually mean they don't have houses. 1 will mean they have houses. So you may want to understand, of the customers with houses, how many of them are single and how many are married. And probably out of so we will get that picture. And you'll probably analyze them on the measure of the sales amount. So literally you're saying that out of the customers who do not have houses, the sales we got from the marrieds is slightly above 2 million, and the sales we got from singles is slightly above 6 million. So in a way, singles do more purchases than marrieds in the aspect of those who do not have houses. When you get to the other aspect of those with houses, actually the marrieds purchase a little more than the singles. But maybe that's not enough, and probably there could be a relationship in terms of the number of cars owned. So we bring in the issue of the number of cars. And literally we're saying, probably we can insert in another theme here, and I don't know, maybe whatever works here. Let's try to see what works here. Okay, let's keep it at what we have, and probably we'll get to see a much better look down there. Let me work for us. Is that better? Okay, so we are actually saying, well, probably we could put marital status on the side of the columns, and then put the number of cars. So we are saying that, and maybe put out the house owner flag and create a bigger picture. So we're trying to say that out of our customers, we seem to have a very big number of the customers coming from the bracket of those who do not own cars. So if you're doing let's talk about a marketing commercial, you probably want to tailor your commercial to target people who do not have cars, more especially the marrieds. If the marrieds are doing well, marrieds without cars are doing well, then you want to boost the sales of the singles, and so you will want to tailor your advert to see that it actually increases sales with the singles. Then we are on a bigger picture, we're seeing that guys with no car, 1 car, 2 cars are doing well in terms of sales. Guys with 3 cars, 4 cars are not our type of customers. We could take that out and talk about the yearly income. Okay, this doesn't go well in a way, but probably let's look at the total children. Do we have a relationship? Yeah, we seem to have a relationship in terms of number of cars. Or maybe let's look at it in terms of the children. So we're saying that guys without children are our best customers. Guys with customers with 1 child are the next after those without children. So in a way, the more the children, then the lesser the purchases. Now you really want to understand the pattern, and this is a very good way to understand. The kind of customers you're dealing with, and it gives you the power to act accordingly. We could also look at the sales territory. We can move out of customers and then look at the territory itself. It's quite rich in analysis. look at the sales territory. Maybe territory as such, you can start with a country and say we have higher sales coming from the US. Then next is Australia. We need to boost our sales in Canada and France and Germany and the UK. So there's information to get out of there. Meantime, do not forget that actually the pivot table is also equally changing appropriately. We could put up a little more design here, see what's coming up. I'll probably make it a little more fancy on that side, and keep it at that, like this maybe. Yeah, keep it at that. Yep. And we could maybe want to also say, how about in terms of product? Do we have a relationship on what we put up here? Do we have a relationship on the sales size? Maybe not. You can analyze that out further. So basically what I'm trying to show is that you have instant reports anytime you want them, and it could be a cube for the marketing department, it could be a cube for the finance department. We can also put in currency. And we'll get to deduce that most of our sales amount comes in terms of US dollars, or Australia, or Canadian, or Dutch rather, sorry, and probably the UK seems to be bringing out some amount of money. That's all about a cube and how it works, and I intend to keep this video quite short, but basically I hope you get a picture. Thank you. Bye.